Good morning and welcome to Berlin. We arrived here late last night and this is our first morning in the city. Our first stop, we've come out to Bernauer Straße in the northeast of the town, as this is where the Berlin Wall Memorial is located. So we're just taking a stroll through now, reading all the bits of history, and yeah, I think our day is going to be spent looking at some of the history of Berlin, following the wall and seeing what we can find. So we have just come out of the Memorial Museum and I'd really recommend it if you're interested in the history of Berlin. It's actually completely free, and if you climb up the tower you can also see basically a reconstruction of the wall. So we're now in Oxfordshire, which is in the centre of Berlin, in the Mitte district. This place is actually the largest courtyard complex in the whole of Germany, and it's quite interesting because this didn't actually used to be part of the city. This was a smaller village outside of the city where they stored hay and straw, which they couldn't keep in Berlin itself because of fire risk.
We're now walking down Sophiastrasse and we're going to look at the Jewish cemetery. And then after that I think we're going to the East Side Gallery, aren't we?
Yeah.
East Side Gallery.
So we've just found the Jewish cemetery, and having read what it says on the post, this is actually a place where there are 16 collective graves, 2,500 people who died in the last few days of fighting in the Second World War. So you can't see any gravestones as such, but you can see the graveyard inside there. It's crazy to think how many people were buried there.
It's rather quite haunting, isn't it?
Literally as you exit the station you can see on the left hand side the start of the East Side Gallery. This actually goes for 1.3 kilometres all the way down to Warschauer Straße, and I think we're going to walk along now, have a look at the different pieces of art, and then be lunchtime.
How is it?
Very, very good. If you're in Berlin and you're looking for somewhere to eat, I would definitely recommend Burgermeister. There are queues here, so be prepared to queue, but burgers aren't that expensive. It was about €5 to mine. Yeah, very, very good. It started to rain, so we've hopped on the bus. We are heading for Heinrich-Heine-Straße, which is where there was a former border crossing point. From there I think we're going to walk to Checkpoint Charlie.
It is day 2, yeah, and today we're going to start by going up the TV tower. It's a really hot day and it started well because we've got a free drink. So our plan is to climb all the way, wait for it, up there. Now fortunately, is there a lift? There must be a lift. Yeah, thank God for that.
We are now back at ground level and back in Alexanderplatz, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of information about this square. This is actually one of the busiest parts of the city, with tourists and locals and everybody sort of congregating here because of the shops and restaurants. It's also the location of obviously the TV tower, and right in front of me the world clock. So we're just going to go and have a little look at that. My research tells me that if you read this thing properly, you can actually find the timeout of 148 cities around the whole world. So we've crossed the river and we are now in the park in front of the cathedral. We've decided not to go inside. There is an entrance fee and we do not have that much money today to spend. So instead we're just going to explore the area. This part of Berlin is actually called Museum Island, which, no surprises, means that it's home to a number of the city's museums.
Down unter den Linden, which is actually means in German under the lime trees. We're now walking towards the Brandenburg Gate, and you can just about see it.
So as you can see, we have made it to the Brandenburg Gate. It was quite a walk down unter den Linden, but we have made it here now to possibly Berlin's most iconic landmark. No surprises, it is absolutely packed here with people taking shots. So I think we are going to head on through and head to our next point.
We've just left the Brandenburg Gate and now we're off to the world famous Holocaust Memorial, which is obviously dedicated to those 6 million people who tragically lost their lives during the Second World War in the Holocaust. So we've just walked around that Holocaust Memorial. Yeah, it definitely makes you think. I mean, those huge blocks on either side of you really make you think of all those atrocities that happened not so long ago. That's basically the theme here. You forget how, you know, it was only about 80 years ago, which is still pretty recent, really. And it's very hard to stomach, you know, when you properly think about how many people actually lost their lives in something as pointless as fascism.
We are now at Gendarmenmarkt and we've decided to stop for lunch in the Erdinger Brewery, which is just literally opposite the square. This place has all sorts of different food from Germany, from Berlin and from the south as well. So we've both ordered a serving of Käsespätzle and yeah, can't wait to tuck in.
That's very good. We're now wandering off to the famous Rittersport Museum, where apparently you can make your own version of the delicious chocolatey treats. So after a fantastic day, we've now just come back to the hotel, and we're just going to end, I think, by going downstairs, having a nice glass of fizz or beer, just to end our trip in Berlin, because it's been absolutely sensational. Highlights have included going up the TV tower, seeing the Holocaust Memorial, and of course having Käsespätzle for dinner, and very, very tasty. Would thoroughly recommend it if you're in Berlin.